what's up you guys, this is Rob, usually from A Gay Guy Plays. However, we are back here on my second channel to continue this keto conversation that we've been having. Now, first and foremost, I do want to thank you guys so much for tuning on into the last video. I'll be honest, I hadn't posted anything up on this channel for the longest time, and I didn't think that anybody was actually going to tune in, so thank you so much for the support, especially because who really wants to take like tips for dieting from a gamer? Right? So I just want to thank you guys again for all of that. However, from a lot of the comments that you guys had left on my social media and here in the comments, a lot of people seem to either be starting keto, be curious about keto, or you know, are just on the cusp and need a little bit of a push. So what I thought I would go ahead and do is give you 5 tips for beginning keto. Okay, so before we jump on in, I do want to make a quick note that this list is not going to be like science-y and like filled with like macros and all of that kind of stuff. This is more going to focus on the advice to make keto work for your life. If you guys are more interested on the kind of like mechanical features of what keto does to your body and all of that kind of stuff, I'll go ahead and leave some links below to some amazing keto YouTubers that you guys can grab that information from. Just think of this as more like your friend helping you out and giving you inspo to do the things that you should be doing. So my first point of advice is do not fight your habits. I think that when people get into a diet, they feel like they have to follow these strict rules and regulations and they have to live a specific way and sacrifice things because they feel like they're almost punishing themselves for whatever they had done in the past. And really, the ketogenic diet is an experience. You should allow yourself to enjoy it and you should tailor it to your habits because you can. There are a lot of different ways to do this. So step 1 for all of this is figure out what your habits are. Are you the kind of person that likes to have one big meal a day and then a couple later in the afternoon? Are you the kind of person that likes to eat in the morning and not really so much in the evening? Are you the kind of person who kind of grazes all day long? Are you like sweets? Do you like savory foods? So really figure out what it is that your eating habits are and then tailor keto to that. And I know that some people out there are like, I can't tailor myself to sweets. You can on keto, but we'll talk about that in maybe a different video. But what I want you to do is if you like those bigger meals, go ahead and go into the supermarket and shop for like maybe some salmon steaks or maybe some real steaks and have those as like a big meal and really fill yourself up on that one. So that way you still have that habit of being able to sit down in front of a plate of big food and just go ahead and eat that and then be able to snack for the rest of the day depending on what your calorie intake is needed. Now, if you're a snacker, there are tons of things that you could do. You could grab yourself mozzarella sticks if you're constantly on the go. Some Quest bars are absolutely amazing, just to kind of like have on hand. Or if you like to prep and you're good at that and you're a snacker, you can also go ahead and grab yourself some bacon. Yes, I have bacon sitting here on my desk just for you, okay? And just go ahead and fry up the whole batch and just have some ready to go for you to snack on. If you don't want to do all that, you can even just get a little bit of a tub of the, the deli meats. So that way, if you just want to sit down and have like a Netflix moment, you can go grab that tub of deli meat, have some cheese, and just sit there and nosh in front of the TV. Just make sure to watch your portion sizes because you are on a diet and you don't want to go over your calories. But if you feed into those habits, the habits that you currently have, as long as you can limit your calorie intake and limit your carb intake, feel free to do it as you wish. I think one of my big ones is that after a big meal, I always need something sweet. So there are some ice creams out there like Halo Top that in moderation, you can go and have a bite of, or what I tend to do a lot of, and I know this will probably piss off a lot of people out there, but I'll open it up, I'll like snap off an end of it, I'll pop that end in my mouth, and then I'll be satisfied. That's my sweet treat at the end of the meal. It's not going over on carbs, it's not going over on calories, but being able to have the same routine that I had before, but just swapping out for keto foods, and then you're fine and dandy. And that way, you're not feeling like this is some sort of punishment because you're still in your same old routine. and that really makes it a lot easier for you to jump into keto. Moving along to tip number 2, have go-to foods. Now, these are foods that I like to just keep handy all of the time. I know their stats back to back to back so that I don't really have to think about anything too much, because let's be completely honest with ourselves, sometimes our days get really stressful. They get really full, whether it's work, whether it's personal, whether it's just people driving you nuts and you're like, please just leave me the hell alone. It's nice to have foods that you can just go to, you already know all of the information on them, so you can think in my head, okay, I've got like 10 carbs left for the day and I need maybe 300, 400 more calories to go. You're like, cool, I can go ahead and grab these sausages right here because they are 4 carbs a piece and about 200 calories a piece. So in your head, it's just automatic. It's like Tetris. It's like you see the little blocks and you're like, oh, I have a little gap here. Perfect. I can go ahead and do that. Or like this ranch that I've got over here. I know it's probably not the healthiest food out here, but 2 tablespoons of this is 2 carbs. So for me, that's kind of like nice to know. I'm like, okay, well, I just want to be able to dip something, so I could just have 2 tablespoons of that and just dip, and you're good, right? Same thing goes for these pepperonis right here. My table is just a whole plethora of foods, but these are actually 110 calories and 0 carbs for 9 slices. So it's nice to have all of these things where you're just like, okay, I need something, but I don't really want to have to think too hard about it. So have these go-to foods in your fridge ready to go, and they don't need to be items like this. Just pick out the things that you absolutely love eating that are keto friendly, because you know, you can't do the go-to foods with donuts. I'm just saying, well, certain donuts online. We'll talk about that in a different video. But legitimately, you have these go-to foods that you already know all of the stats of, and you can just go ahead and Tetris into your day. And it's a nice stress relief when you don't have to like think about your diet and how will this fit in. You're like, no, I'm good. I have my go-tos. Alrighty, now tip number 3 is a little bit more specific. However, it is definitely something that I preach to all of my friends. It's a big stress saver, and I'm telling you, it will make your life so much easier. If you're not having a good day, or you just can't manage to pull yourself together or do any kind of meal prep, rotisserie chicken is literally your best friend. Just head on over to the grocery store on your way home, grab a rotisserie chicken, and you can just nosh on that, plain and simple. They're absolutely amazing tasting. They're 0 carbs, so again, it's kind of like a go-to food. You don't really have to think about it, but there are so many things that you can do to a rotisserie chicken. And I guess this is also something that you could say about ground beef, but ground beef doesn't usually come pre-cooked, and pretty much every grocery store out there has like rotisserie chickens on hand. So you can just dig in, plain and simple, to a rotisserie chicken, or you can do a couple cool different things. One of the things that I like to do is I actually like to get certain salad dressings. Like I have a really good Greek salad dressing right now that's like 1 carb for every 2 tablespoons, and I just go ahead, have that, just dip my chicken into that, and it's absolutely amazing. Or you could go ahead and do my chicken parmesan trick and just take the chicken off of the bone, just shred it up, put it in a pan, toss in some pasta sauce, just season it to taste, and then just let it simmer there in that sauce, and boom, it's kind of like chicken parm. And that one rotisserie chicken can be turned into so many different things that it's absolutely amazing. You could toss it in some stir fry, you can put it in a salad. It's just something that makes your life so much easier, and it's not halfway bad for you. It doesn't necessarily have an insane amount of calories, and it's easy, accessible, and let's be real, sometimes that's what we need in our lives, and it just makes being keto a little bit easier and a little bit more tolerable. Now, tip number 4 runs in the same vein of the rotisserie chicken advice that I just gave. Basically, if you can put it on a bun or you can put it in a tortilla, you can put it on some lettuce leaves. This is definitely one of my favorite tricks. I like to pick up one of these containers. As you can see, it's like they're all formed nice and prettily, and all you gotta do is just open up the package and just take one of these lettuce leaves out. If you want tacos, you can use it as a taco shell. If you want to make like a tuna salad sandwich, you can go ahead and use that as a bread. You want some sliders? Oh my God, you can make some like little meat patties, and you can fold the little leaves over and you can have some sliders. This thing is absolutely amazing, and it really opens your mind up to all of the different possibilities. You know, I'm thinking right now I want to make a chicken and egg salad kind kind of sandwich thing. I can go ahead and put it on that. I could make roll-ups if you want to just go ahead and grab some deli meat and just slap some mayo on there. Mayo is also keto friendly for those of you guys who don't know, in moderation, of course, always. You could go ahead and do that, slap some cheese on there and just roll it up and have it as a quick snack. There's so many things that you can do with these lettuce leaves, so it's nice to just have them in my fridge. They are a go-to for me, and I believe, if I crunch the numbers right, 4 leaves of romaine is like 1 carb. So in my head, I always have like a serving of 4, and boom, that's a single carb. And it's nice to have some leafy greens in your system as well. So it's definitely something that you can incorporate into pretty much everything that you do, whether you want to do hot foods and toss them in there, kind of like the lettuce wrap Chinese style foods out there. I think that there's even like egg roll in a bowl. Well, if you don't feel like eating in the bowl, you can go ahead and toss it in a lettuce wrap as well. It's all about getting creative and having things available to you to kind of play around with and do different takes on the same foods that you were able to have previously and before you were in keto. And finally, we arrive at tip number 5, and this one is definitely one of my favorites. It's actually a piece of life advice that I've gone ahead and keto-fied. Somebody had once told me before that it's much better to be a hot mess in action than picture perfect achieving nothing at all. And that's definitely something that I have lived by for a long time. As you guys know, I'm a little bit rough and tumble, and things are never perfect when I do them, but they get done, and that's the most important thing to me. So my keto version of this is better sloppy keto than no keto at all. And I think that when we take a look at social media, Instagram, food blogs, YouTube, we see all of these pretty pictures of what keto is and this diets and like grass-fed meats and like farm-raised eggs and like everybody's successful and fit, and we're like, oh, why is our life like not like that? How do they have their lives so perfectly put together? And I think that it can be a little bit of a deterrent because sometimes we don't feel like we can live up to that. But we do, if we look at it, if we look at the way that keto is set up, it's really just about cutting your carbs down to 20 or under and then eating a lot of proteins and fats. And that's really the base of what keto is. There's many ways to achieve that. I was watching some old KETOGENIC videos, and in one of them, they'd actually mentioned the fact that there was somebody who lost weight eating keto from fast food. And actually there's a great image, and I'll go ahead and toss it up here, and I'll also link it up on Pinterest, of somebody that had made this post that showed how to keto-fy all of your fast foods. So you can still go through the drive-thru. All you have to do is ask them for certain changes or just ask for specific meals, and you'll actually be able to keto-fy your meals in a fast food environment. Like, sure, it's not like grass-fed beef. Yes, it's not like these perfect cuts and these perfect macros, you know, but it is still keto. It's still getting it done. And while we should strive to be the best we possibly can be, sometimes, like, you're on the run and all you got is a gas station. You can get yourself some Rockstar Pure Zero. No carbs in this, right? You can go ahead and grab yourself a bag of chicharrones, which is actually, what is this called? Fried pork rinds. Mokamu hates it when I say chicharrones, but that's what it is. Like, you can live off of that, and that's still technically keto. Now, I'm not saying do it every day, but in that moment, you still kept it keto. Right? In a moment where you could have gone and like got like some donuts and you could have gotten yourself a slushie. Instead, what you chose to do was to keep it keto. It's messy, it's not perfect, but then again, life is messy and life is not perfect. So we shouldn't expect ourselves to continuously fill this kind of like Instagram space of, look at all of the delicious foods I'm making. I made, you know, deviled eggs with chipotle mayo sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. I'm planning on doing that though, I'm just letting you know. But it doesn't have to be that deep. If you are living off of some mozzarella sticks some days because you just don't have the time to deal, do that. Do that as long as you're still keeping it keto, and don't feel ashamed. Life is not about feeling ashamed. Being on a diet is not about being punished. It's about living the best version of your life as you can in a keto way. And that's all you really need to think about. All right, so that was a whole lot of stuff to digest. However, I am gonna sneak one last little tip in here. So tip number 6, a lot of us have cravings. There are a lot of foods that we want to eat now that we can't. But know that the internet is a great place to find replacements. There are cookies, there are donuts, there are waffles, there are like ice cream recipes. There are tons of ways to get your hands on things that might not be exactly like you wish they were, but there are so many new companies coming out now to satiate the needs of the keto community. So just keep that in mind. I actually went ahead and sent Mogamu out to go grab some of these Real Good Foods pizzas because he was craving pizzas, and now I was like, why don't you find this? This is available in Walmart. And had it not been for the internet and a lot of the information out there, I was actually able to find him those pizzas and say, go to Walmart, they're available there. You can have your pizza and still be keto. So definitely check that out on the internet. Don't ever feel limited, because the world is now interconnected and we can see all of these great ideas, whether we end up making it ourselves or ordering it on Amazon Prime. Let's be real, because sometimes we gotta be sloppy, and sloppy keto is better than no keto. So that about does it for this episode. I hope that those tips helped. I hope that they kind of like reached you on another level, because I know there's a ton of places that you could go get all the science information, but let's just keep it real here. Let's be human. Let's understand that we're all trying to improve ourselves and trying to work towards some things, and some days shit doesn't turn out great. Regardless, that about does it for me for now. Leave some comments in the comments below. Leave some comments in the comments below. Wow, my grammar's gone. It's been a long day, okay? 2 videos on the other channel, and we're doing this one here now. But yeah, let me know if there's anything that you want me to take a look at, any tips that you guys might need, or I don't know, just toss your feelings down in the comments below, and that about does it for me for now. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch yo body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.